Hi everyone. Welcome to Module 2 of the Alma Coach Academic Dynamics 365 CRM Functional Consultancy course. Right. In this module, we're going to be taking you through the length and breadth of the Power Platform um, fundamentals. So just head straight to our slide, and the what I'll be running you through is a quick overview of the chatbots, the Power Apps, Power Automates, the Power BI suites that makes up the Power Platform Center. So the Power Apps overview. The Power Apps contains three distinct sections, which is the Canvas apps. So there are different kind of apps on the uh, Power Apps. So we have the Canvas apps. So the Canvas apps are basically apps that you don't have a control over the UI, right? So how the interface looks like, you don't have a control over. While the model-driven apps, these are apps that you built off Dataverse, right? And you have a say over how the design interface looks like, where you can keep things and all those fun stuffs, and the extensive nature of it, right? So let me just quickly show us from a sample environment. So how do you get to the point where you manage different things that happens on your Power Platform Admin Center? So let me just open my the environment you're working with here. So a quick place you go to is the make, right, .powerapps.com, right? So when I click on this, just a minute, let me connect my. So it's loading the make.powerapps.com. So it's loading. Let me quickly just sign in here. So this is basically where you do all your fun stuff for your Power Apps. So let me just do us a quick run through. So at the top right here is where you switch from one environment to another, right? So the environment you build whatever on, that's where the whole system speaks from. So the data are like we explained in the first module of this course. So you have the dataverse, and these dataverse are partitioned into different environments. And whatever you build on that dataverse speaks to only the data in the dataverse for that environment. That's why you need to switch in between environments if you have different environments in your tenant. And based on what you want to do, you can switch to the one you want. So I'll still remain on the general demo, but this is basically where you switch to environment. So you just click here and you'll be able to switch. Then on this panel here, we have the home screen, right? That gives you this, and you then have your beautiful co-pilot that you could tell, and it could help you maybe proceed to do what you intend to do, right? So scrolling down, you could see the different plans you have and the different apps you already have on this environment. So when you go to the next, just below home, you have the create option. So this gives you the option to be able to create flows, be it AI Hub, AI Builder, your co-pilots can guide you to either create a model-driven app or a Canvas app. But for this case, we can't create model-driven app from here. What we could create is, this is where you come to create your Canvas app. Where you create model-driven app, it's on the environment directly itself. So when I click on this environment, right, you could see when you go, you could see create new app. If you click on this create new app, what it will create for you is a model-driven app, though it will be on the Power Platform interface, but you can see that now it's creating a new model-driven app, right? So how a model-driven app looks like is any of these apps that we have here, right? When let me say I click on the Customer Service Hub, so this is how a model-driven app look like, right? You have it has widget constraints, so you can see this is how it will always pop up. And when you click on any of the entity, we're going to show you how to do all that. When you click on any of the entity, it pops out maybe a view first for you, and after a view, if you click on new to create a new record for this table, right, then it pops out a form. So this is basically how the model-driven app interface looks like. You really don't have a say. You can only keep things in different pockets of sections here and there. But when you come to the Canvas app own end, right, you have like a robust say over how the app flows, how everything is, right? We'll also walk you through creating each of all those apps, but I just want to point out their difference for you here. So that's basically what you have for the model and the Canvas app. So on your Power Platform, on this Make.Power Apps area, or other things you have the Learn that could guide you on maybe getting quick guides on doing some certain things. Then you have the different plans, right, that you could create based on your AI power. Then you now have your apps. This will lead you to all the apps you've created, be it model driven, Canvas app. You could see all of them here. If I click on all here, it will give me all the apps on this environment, be it a model driven app or a Canvas app, as the case may be. So you could see a list of all the apps sitting on this environment. Then you have your AI hub, which I'm also going to discuss later in the course of our presentation. So let's just go back to our presentation, and now we've known the difference between the Canvas app and the model driven app. So basically, the Canvas app, you the apps that you build directly from your Make dot Power Apps end, while your model driven apps are the one you build from your environment, the dynamics environment context end directly. So, and those for model driven, you don't have a say over the UI, right? Over some of the functionalities of how things will flow. But for the Canvas app, you have a say over how you could customize. So it gives you a low code approach, but you have more extensive thing you could explore and do with that. And for the Canvas app, right, you could pick your data sources from different source. But for model driven, it has to be from the Dataverse environment. So you pick tables from the Dataverse. So let's head back to our slide, right? I'll just click on this. So we now have the Power Pages, formerly known as portals. So for the Power Pages, this is where you build facing in user facing interface. So your customer or what their cases may be. So external facing secure website, because your customers cannot directly have access to Dynamics 365 end. So what you could use to expose some functionalities from your Dynamics end to your customers directly is what we call the Power Pages end. Then the Power Automate, right, is where you now build automated flow. So repetitive tasks that needs to be done, right? And the Power Automate is very, very robust. It has integrations with a lot of Microsoft connections. So based on repetitive tasks that needs to be created, so that's where Power Automate comes for you. You build flows, and those flows run. They can be scheduled, or as the case maybe you could had started. So let me just go back to our point here, and you can see these flows. So when I click on flows, this is where you come to create your automations, right? You want to send automated emails, maybe when something is done, different triggers. So all those things, they sit here, right? And you could just click on this to create a new flow. So you have different kind of flows you could create based on what will be triggering them. You have the automated cloud flow, you have the instant cloud flow, meaning you will be the one to maybe toggle on a button and you're going to then hit on the create. So in the course of we going in our models, right, we'll get to a point where we're going to show you how you create flows here and tie them to things in your Dynamics CRM end. So you also have scheduled flow. So scheduled flow are flow you could set a time when they should run and things like that. You also have your AI here to describe and tell it what kind of flow you want to build, and voila, Copilot is going to build that flow for you. So let's say if you click on this instant flow, it walks you through things like putting in the name, then you select what will be the trigger, right? You have different trigger, you have things from your manual push button, then you have from Power Apps. So let's say I have Canvas apps that from there users could maybe click on a button, and based on that button they click to do something, an automated third flow is running behind, maybe to send some emails, to do some collations or some data. So different fun things are fully available on your Power Automate end, and this is really a life-saving tool for some of the automations that you see us do in the course of this training section for the functional consultants. So let's now move back to our slide. So the types of flows like I showed us just now, we have the automated flow, the instant cloud flow, which is the one you just click on the button and press. Then we have the desktop app where you could automate events and maybe movements on your application. And also, like I stated earlier on, Power Automate has a robust integration options, right? You could also integrate with external parties tools. There are some tools that other persons have also built that could speak to Power Automate, and with that, it will help you automate a lot and lot of tasks, even for the organization. Then the next is our Power BI. So Power BI is the visualization end, right? You could connect your Power BI to the data source, which is Dataverse, Excel, or SQL, and render those data maybe in your in your Canvas app or your model-driven app. So any of them, you could render your Power BI. It gives insights, right, into data. So for instance, let me walk us through something. So let's say I go back to my environment and I go to customer service. So something like this now, it's rendered from Power BI. You could see, okay, Power BI is not a provision here. So let me just look for any of these that has Power BI already. Let's see if the knowledge. So, but all these are picking informations. They're supposed to pick informations from the system and render them. So let's see. Okay, you can see now Power BI is loading here. So basically, you connect Power BI. This is now a model-driven app, and you can see this. This is actually coming from Power BI, but the data is using to render this is Dataverse, right? So that's basically how you get Power BI sitting on your environment. We're going to also show you how you could create new dashboards from Power BI and have them sitting here. So let's just go back to our slide on having an overview of the Power Platform Admin Center. Then you now have your Power Virtual Agent, which is the boss in town currently, the PVA, the co-pilot that helps you manage different things, right? Your virtual assistant, all these sit on this, and it's a low code, right? And no code, meaning it's a drag and drop feature, and it's when you want to extend it to a greater level that you might not need to do some little codes here, and it's integrated with Power Automate. This is fantastic, I must say. We're going to be showing you that also in our coming video, how you could use Power Automate. So these solutions, they come together to give you a robust experience. So we're going to be showing you also in future modules how you use the PVA, how you create them, and how Power Automate 2 comes in to play. So some of the things that will be happening behind the scene on your Dataverse table, pulling out records. So Power Automate will be doing that, rendering it back to your bots. Your bots will be rendering it back to your customers. So your bots will just be the interface between your customers. Then the information it collects, it goes serves them back with Power Automate and a lot of fun stuff. So that's where your PVA comes in. And to be able to access PVA, let me just go back to our end here, right? So to access the Power Platform, the agent end, you can see when I click on more, you could go to agents here. When I click on agent, right, you can now see the option of creating an agent from blank, right? And the different agents we already have. So if I want to create a new one, if I just click on this, it will ask me some details to create it. And how it looks like is, let's say I go to this maybe let's say I go to this bot here. So let's give it some time to load. So you can see this is how your PVA looks like, the bot that does the magic behind the scene for you. So it's loading here. I just wanted to show us some quick view. Let me just keep all this. So this is basically your testing area. You can see the bot is greeting. You have topics that helps to guide the bot on what to do, the responses to do. You have knowledge sources where you could connect your knowledge base to the bot so that the bot can respond from there. So basically, this is how the interface for your PVA, which is just renamed to Copilot Studio, now looks like. And we're going to walk you through all this because as a functional consultant, you also need this, especially for use cases like customer service, where customers need to interact with the bot, and from the bot, it needs to now be transferred to an agent. So that's basically how it looks like for the PVA end. So for for this one, for Power Virtual Agents, you'll be building chatbots using no code interface, just like what I showed you just now. It's integrated with Power Automate for advanced workflows, right? And also you can deploy them on Teams, on your website, and many more different platforms. You could deploy this, and the bot kicks in anytime the users log onto it. Then we now have the Microsoft Dataverse. The Dataverse is your storage end, right? Where you create your tables, where you do your relationships and all the whole magic. So let me just also show you how you access that quickly. Also, that happens here. When you click on table here, all these table informations you are seeing, all of them are sitting on what we call Dataverse. So you want to create new tables so that you could call them, put in records, do different things with them. This is where we come to. These tables here is what holds all your information in this environment, and they're all kept into partitions of different tables. And the holistic nature of all of them is what we refer to as Dataverse, Microsoft Dataverse. So I'll proceed now next to our next slide. So AI Builder, which happens to be our last, is so let's say you want to build automated scrapping using AI or automations, maybe for form processing. You want to pick up information from form, process those information, maybe write them to different tables. So your AI Builder is here. We're also going to walk you through use cases where you use the AI Builder, train models, those models to be able to scrape data for you or do some tasks for you at the end of the day. So that's basically what the AI model is going to be. And also to access the AI model, when you come here, if you click on more here, you come down to the AI model region. Okay, sorry, that's the AI hub at the top here. So when I click on this is where you come to make build of all those first of building AI model, your document automations, monitor activities, optimize your prompts. So all that we're going to show you here. So that's basically a run through, right, of the um, Power Platform Center and all the robust features we'll be going through, and how and where to access them. So offshoots from here, all right, we'll be diving deep into working with Dataverse and model-driven app, right, showing you how all those things are to be created, how they will run, how they speak to each other. So see you in our next module. Thank you.